traders, Gates Adam the Forge Trader here, and welcome back to episode 3 of The Inner Game of Trading, where I translate the concepts from the book The Inner Game of Tennis by Timothy Gallwey to trading concepts through the lens of the Forge Trader. Okay, think back to your best trading session. Not your most profitable one, but your best one. The one where you just knew, where the setup was clear, where you got in without hesitation, where you held the trade the way it was supposed to be held, and where you exited clean. No second guessing, no panic, no voice telling you to do something different. Just execution. You've had at least one session like that. I want you to think about where that came from, because the answer is going to change the way that you think about your trading forever. In The Inner Game of Tennis, Timothy Gallwey made an observation that most performance coaches still haven't caught up to. He said Self-2, the natural performer, doesn't need to be built. It needs to be uncovered. Self-2 is not something you develop through more study. It's not something you earn through more screen time. It's not even something you manufacture through discipline. It's already there. Gallwey watched his best students perform their worst the moment they started thinking too hard. The moment they started correcting, analyzing, and judging, the moment that Self-1 took over. And he watched his most nervous students perform beyond their supposed level the moment they got out of their own way. The capability was always there. The interference was what was blocking it. That session I asked you to think about at the start of the episode, that was Self-2. That wasn't a lucky day. It wasn't the market cooperating. It wasn't some rare alignment of conditions. That was just you, the real you, operating without interference. In the Forged Trader philosophy, we call this the forged identity. And this is what makes the forged identity different from everything else you've been taught. It's not built from scratch. It's revealed through pressure. Every time you follow your process when Self-1 is screaming at you, every time you hold to a trade when the voice says to move the stop, every time you sit on your hands when you want a revenge trade, you're not forcing discipline, you're just letting Self-2 operate. Now, here's where most traders go wrong. They try to access Self-2 by silencing Self-1. They try to muscle their way into clean execution state. They white-knuckle their way through a session trying to suppress the voice. And it doesn't work, because you cannot fight your way into composure. Gallwey's insight, and this is the part most people never quite grasp, is that Self-2 emerges when Self-1 is observed, not suppressed. There's a difference. Suppression says, stop thinking that. Observation says, I see that, it's not a directive. One creates a war inside your head, and the other creates space. In the Forged philosophy, we call this composure. Composure is not the absence of emotion. Composure is the ability to feel the emotion and execute the way that you should anyway. The nervous system has 3 states: fight or flight, which is reactive, impulsive, and rule breaking; freeze, which is hesitation, paralysis, and avoidance; and flow, the clear, grounded, disciplined execution. Self-2 lives in the flow state, and here's the critical truth. You cannot get there through willpower. You get there through identity. When your identity is clear, when you know who you are as a trader, when your process is your anchor, when you've done the internal work, the flow state isn't something you chase. It becomes your default. Now, that's the Forged Trader, not someone who never hears Self-1, someone whose Self-2 is so grounded that Self-1 just becomes background noise. If you've been watching this series and something is clicking, if you're starting to see yourself in a way that you haven't before, that's the work beginning. Be sure to follow this account, share this episode with a trader who's stuck, because what we're building toward in this series is the clearest picture of why you trade the way you trade that you've ever had. And it gets more specific from here. So now you know Self-2. You have felt it, you've seen it in your own trading, but here's what I still haven't addressed. If Self-2 is already in there, if you've already had sessions where it showed up, why doesn't it show up consistently? What's keeping it shut down? Gallwey had a word for it, one word, and when I put it into a trading context, you're going to see your entire performance history through a completely different lens. That's episode 4 tomorrow. Don't miss it. In the meantime, stay forged, and I'll see you in the fire.